Dad. One of the first words we ever say, a simple but enduring word. And if you live in the Mohawk Valley of upstate New York, on Saturday nights, dads take families to Fonda Speedway. The Track of Champions has been part of this family tradition 44 years. Maybe it's the lucky numbers. Maybe it's the rides in your heroes' cars. Surely it's the champions who race there. The King, Richard Petty, and his ever-present nemesis, David Pearson, won here in the 60s. If Pete Corey and Bill Wimble won at Fonda, they could win anywhere, and did. Watching a hero on the track, sitting next to one in the stands. It's Thunder 5, and it's next on Sports Channel.
Dirt tracking, born in the cornfields and lower 40s of rural America. Dirt tracking, the cornerstone of racing. The early barnstormers put it all on the line to satisfy their thirst for speed. Now, their great-grandchildren carry the torch with the same spirit and thirst. 700 horsepower rips the earth. For 1 hour, nothing else matters. It'll raise the hair on the back of your neck. Rush Hour on Dirt.
We are live at Montgomery County Fairgrounds in the Track of Champions, Fonda Speedway in Fultonville, New York, for Thunder 5. Welcome to Rush Hour on Dirt. Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Logan. This is the first of 10 consecutive Thursday night live dirt modified races on Sports Channel. Joining me is the voice of Dirt Motorsports, Gary Montgomery. And Gary, tell our viewers what Dirt Motorsports is all about.
Dirt Motorsports is a stock car race sanctioning organization headquartered in Weedsport, New York, founded by Glenn Donnelly back in 1976. They sanction weekly races at 25 different racetracks in 4 states and 2 Canadian provinces. In addition to the weekly programs, there's this midweek series, the Skull Racing Series, of which tonight's race is a part. It's all topped off by the $1 million weekend in October called Super Dirt Week in Syracuse.
About the drivers we'll see competing tonight.
56 drivers have come here tonight to qualify for the program. They've come from all walks of life. Some of them left their day jobs to come here. Others are professional racers that will run 100 races this summer, all of them in pursuit of glory and money. Speaking of money, the winners share tonight $15,000.
And the Skull Series has a very unique way of establishing its starting lineup.
Unique and complicated. The drivers all drew for starting positions when they came through for qualifying heats. They ran those races. The top 3 finishers qualified. The remainder of the field has come from qualifying races, provisional spots, guaranteed spots. But the top 18, they had to redraw. So it is possible that the fastest guy could start back in position number 18.
Now, our pit reporter is Cowboy Paul Small, and he has, shall we say, the good, bad, and the ugly of tonight's draw.
There's nothing more American than modified racing, and in the true American spirit of democracy, a draw is used to determine the starting positions. And Kenny Tremont, you got the best of this draw. You're starting on the pole tonight.
That's for sure. Hopefully it'll be an advantage for us. We won't have to pass a lot of cars, and if the car's going well, we can set our own pace and get the job done.
Now, when you live by the draw, you may also potentially die by the draw. Brett Hearn, you drew the worst possible number available tonight, 18. How much of a disadvantage is that?
Well, we worked real hard just to get the draw, and we thought we were all set, but then we came out and drew 18th. So, we've got our work cut out for us. I think right now we've just got to race the track and try to get the car as good as we can for the feature and get the right setup. And if we got the right setup, we've got enough time to get to the front.
I tell you, Kenny Tremont's pretty quick, but I keep my eyes on this guy. He's not going to be in an 18th spot for very long. Doug?
All right, Gary and I are ready. Hope you're ready for some wild side-by-side dirt track modified racing. It's Rush Hour on Dirt, live on Sports Channel. Rush Hour on Dirt is brought to you in part by CarQuest Auto Parts Stores, Racing Electronics Race Team Communications, Bob Hilbert Sportswear, Hoosier Racing Tires, Sunoco Race Fuels, and by Chevrolet, the cars and trucks 36 million people depend on every day. It's genuine Chevrolet. At Fonda Speedway for Rush Hour on Dirt, and it's time for racing's magic words. Here's Budweiser's Margaret Bartizel.
Starting words.
Gentlemen, this Bud's for you. Start your engine!
Doug, these are 800 horsepower stock cars, especially built for this. They weigh 2,550 pounds. Again, they're built especially for short track dirt stock car racing. They'll produce speeds of about 100 miles an hour. That's the top speed. The average lap speed will be in the neighborhood of 90 miles an hour.
Our race analysis. Fonda Speedway is a half-mile clay oval. This will be a 75-lap event. Caution laps count until the final 3. 31 cars will start. $15,000 to win. The total purse, $45,600. And as the cars move into starting position now on the race course, let's take a look at the starting lineup. Row 1 by draw on the pole, the 115 of Kenny Tremont, and outside Kenny, it's Tony Pepicelli.
The second row starters include second-generation driver A.J. Romano and Syracuse race winner Jimmy Horton out of New Jersey.
Billy Pouch is competitive and a winner in every form of racing. He'll be inside row 3, followed by Tim Fuller, number 19.
Back in row 4 on the inside, starting position number 7 goes to the daring one, Danny Johnson from Phelps, New York, alongside his Pennsylvania driver, Kenny Brightbill.
Row 5, Ron Proctor and Chris Moore.
Frank Cozy sits inside of row number 6 with the thumb racing car number 12T. Alongside is the 1986 driver that's won 86 times here. That's Dave Late from Canajoharie.
Row 7 looks this way, the 13 of Frank Horde Sr. and outside the 15 of Randy Snyder.
Starting in position number 15 is a Saturday night regular here at this racetrack, New York. Amsterdam, New York driver Maynard Brett. Alongside is a Pennsylvania driver, Doug Hoffman. He's the 1991 Mr. Dirt champion.
Row 9 consists of the 21J of Jeff Trombley with 2 feature wins here at Fonda already this season. And outside row 9 with that unlucky draw, Brett Hearn, number 3.
Starting back in position number 19, this is row number 20 now. 4-time school champion and the winningest driver in the history of this racetrack, Jack Johnson. Alongside is David Camara, young driver out of Poultney, Vermont.
Row 11, Billy Decker and Jimmy Chester.
Back row position number 23 is Timmy Dwyer, a second-year modified driver, and alongside is Bobby Varon.
Row 13, A.J. Slideways, the winningest driver in dirt motorsports history, the 14J, Alan Johnson. Then it's Steve the Hurricane Payne.
Starting back in position number 27 is Pat Ward. Alongside is 3-time school champion, defending race winner here, Bob McCready in the Kinney Drug Store's car number 9.
Row 15 looks this way. Bob McCready and John Proctor.
And in the back of the pack all by himself will be Jeff Hetzler and Mike Cervino.
Our in-car camera, sponsored by CarQuest, is mounted over the left shoulder of Frank Cozy in the number 12T, and we're looking forward to some very exciting shots from the CarQuest in-car camera. And we have 1 lap to go, and we will be set for racing as the field now heads into turn 2. This is a very, very interesting track from a personality standpoint.
It certainly is. It's egg-shaped. Turns 1 and 2 are rather tight. Then they go down the back straightaway along the Erie Canal, we might add. We've had drivers go over there. Then there's big, wide, sweeping turns 3 and 4. It's about a quarter of a mile around those corners alone. Then they come screaming back down the home straightaway.
Pole sitter Kenny Tremont outside row 1, the 11A of Tony Pepicelli into turn 3. Short shoot between 3 and 4. All eyes in the front stretch on starter Terry Pulsion as the field now starts to accelerate out of turn 4. Down the front straightaway, the green flag is out, and Thunder 5 is underway with Kenny Tremont diving low into turn 1, has the lead over Tony Pepicelli, and Horton tries the outside in position number 3 down the backstretch.
A side-by-side battle for position number 4. A.J. Romano on the outside in the red car. Billy Pouch works the bottom in the black car number M1, but they're all chasing Kenny Tremont as they come down to complete lap 1 of Thunder 5.
Kenny Tremont leads after 1 lap, and of course he is looking for his first ever career win here at Fonda, and he's looking very strong in the early going. Pepicelli's in second.
Here's that side-by-side battle back for position number 1. Just changed players. We had Romano going alongside of Horton. Now Horton makes a pass of Billy Pouch.
We have a car slowed in the back straightaway. We'll pick it up for you as the field heads into turn 1 and now into turn 2. Continues to be Tremont number 1, Tony Pepicelli in 2nd, and Jimmy Horton in 3rd.
Horton very, very impressive here. He's riding right now. He goes around the outside and tries to go around the outside of Pepicelli. It won't work as they work to 3 and 4. Here's the shot from the thumb car. Frank Cozy works it out at turn number 4.
Brett Hearn had that unlucky draw starting in the 18th position. He's trying to put the moves on Chris Moore. He got around him. And we have a spin in turn 1. And the caution flag will come out. It is out on the racetrack as we have a car up against the wall in turn 1. That's Randy Snyder in the number 15.
Snyder, a regular here at the Fonda Speedway, backs it into the wall. Doesn't look to be extensively damaged. In fact, he's pulling it away now, so it would appear that he'll be able to fall in at the rear. Now, we should add here, Doug, that caution laps will count. This is a 75-lap race, but all laps will count, even if it's caution, regardless, caution or green. But there you can see the damage to the back of Snyder's car. But again, I think that's primarily cosmetic, and he'll be able to continue. All laps count with the exception of the final 3. They will be under green. So we'll complete lap number 5 here under yellow.
And we see that Randy Snyder is back underway. There's a shot at the front of the pack. We had 6 heat races tonight. The winners, Kenny Brightbill, Jim Horton, Kenny Tremont, Doug Hoffman, Chris Moore, and A.J. Romano. The consolation winners, 2 consolation races tonight, Jack Johnson and Dave Camara. Alan Johnson is going into the pits.
Oh, that's a tough break for A.J. Slideways. Alan Johnson, as he takes the Bill Trout Honeywell Auto Parts 14J Bicknell car to the pit area. We continue to operate under yellow.
Well, there's a look at Alan right there. Alan Johnson low on the race course as he is set to head into the pits.
Alan has a new team for 1996, and things have been going very, very well for them so far, but it doesn't look to be the case right now. Alan started his racing career when he was just 16 years old. He got in a stock car, which he had to shift, of course. He'd never driven a standard transmission car before in his life until he got in a race car. He's been racing ever since, and he's the winningest driver in the history of motorsports modified competition. He's won over 200 times.
So there's Alan Johnson in the pits. Randy Snyder also in the pits. Now he's headed back out and back onto the race course. Doug Hoffman started 16th. He's up to 10th. And how about charting Brett Hearn's action?
No doubt about it. He started back in position number 18, but Brett the Jet is up to position number 12, and he's a man to keep your eyes on. Brett Hearn, a very, very professional. We talked about some professionals. He's one of them. So we'll keep our eyes on Hearn and Hoffman as they make their way from the back.
6 laps out of 75 in the books here at Fonda.
There you have a shot of the Cozy car, the 12T. Alan has a right front tire change, right rear tire change. So that was the problem for Alan. They're trying to do that. Stu Shepard is his crew chief. They're trying to make that repair. Again, they're losing laps as these caution laps will count. They're rushing that car back to the speedway now.
The
green flag
accelerate out of turn 4, and it's Tremont and Horton is outside of Kenny Tremont. He goes into turn number 1 with the lead.
A tremendous burst of power from the outside as Jimmy Horton blasted. That's usually not the fast way around, but he went by Tremont like he was standing still. He instantly opens up a 3-car length advantage, but behind them you can see the very, very tight competition as they thread their way in turns 3 and 4.
And notice how these cars, these dirt modified cars, just slide through the turns.
Yeah, they want to roll them over and get some bite on that right rear tire, and that's the way their chassis are set up. They've got a whole lot of things that are variable here, and they work the chassis all night long. There we see Hearn in the red and white Budweiser car number 3 making a move as he goes by Brightbill in the black number 19.
Doug Hoffman right behind Brightbill. Danny Johnson the number 6. Horton is the record holder for most consecutive ARCA stock car super speedway wins as we see Brett Hearn once again making a move.
Hearn trying to run down Danny Johnson. That's a car that Hearn used to drive, the Freightliner car, but Danny Johnson is now the hired gun, and he's wheeled it. He makes the pass as they work out of turn number 4 and come down to the line.
Brett Hearn is up to 8th place, and he's knocking on Danny Johnson's back bumper right now. Trying to move into 7th.
A.J. Romano is the driver just ahead, the red number 4. We can see him in the screen momentarily, but here's the Brightbill in the black car number 19. He's a veteran driver. He's about 50 years old. He works on Hearn. They make a little contact as they work into turn number 3, but get away with it.
As we take a look at Brett Hearn's progress through the pack, the leader continues to be Jimmy Horton. 2nd is Kenny Tremont. There's Doug Hoffman going low on Brett Hearn.
Hoffman Hoffman has made the pass of Brightville. Now he's working the inside of Hearn. Here we see some traffic as Payne works the outside of Bobby Barron. They're trying to run down Chris Moore in the 0 car, the Pepsi car. Here we come back to positions 5, 6, and 7. That's Danny Johnson running at 5 with Hearn at 6. And Hoffman back in the number 7 spot with the red and yellow Phil's Chevrolet, car number 1.
Brett Hearn driving the number 3 Budweiser car out of Sussex, New Jersey. Sponsors Budweiser and Auto Palace. He's a 2-time Mr. Dirt and 6-time Skoal Racing Super Dirt Series champion. Back up to the front, Billy Pouch looking strong.
Billy rides in position number 3, trying to run down the top pair as they work out of turn 2. There's our leader, Jimmy Horton. We talked about him leading the leading ARCA driver, but he's also got a record for going out of the ballpark at Talladega, the highest distance of any driver to have ever left that racetrack. So he's got a lot of credits in his book.
An absolutely incredible accident at Talladega, but look at this margin, the lead Horton has on Tremont.
That is incredible for the early going here. And Tremont, of course, started on the pole, but Horton made that pass when we knew that he had lots of horsepower when he was able to make the pass on the outside. He'd stretched it out to nearly a half a straightaway as they come down to complete lap number 21.
There is Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson, 30-year veteran on the dirt circuit out of Waynesburg, New York, 6-time Mr. Dirt, 4-time Skoal Series champion. He also had a couple seconds in the books as you see the action in turn 1.
There is action all the way around the racetrack, Doug. This is really good racing. Here comes Jeff Tromley in the red, black, and white number 21J. He's a Fonda regular trying to pick up a spot. Here and there we can see side-by-side racing. Danny Johnson on the outside of Doug Hoffman. Hoffman works the bottom, and they're both Troyer cars, both Hunter powered. So this is a battle of drivers right here. Continue to work in the bottom, and this looks like the pass right there. Doug Hoffman out of West Colesville, Pennsylvania, a suburb of Allentown. He runs against Danny Johnson, who resides in Phelps, New York.
Hoffman currently in the Skoal Series, 2nd in points to Hearn and 3rd in the money list behind Hearn and Bob McCready. Finished 2nd at Brewerton to McCready, and 3rd at Cornwall behind Hearn and Billy Decker.
They continue to mix it up, and here comes Tromley working the inside of Brightville. Now we go back towards the front, and we got the A.J. Romano car on the outside of Brett Hearn. Romano in the red number 4, the Skip Seymour-owned Troyer car, goes against the Teo car of Hearn. That's the red and white number 3.
And this battle on the race course is for 5th place. Now remember, we're now 18 laps into this race, now 19 laps into the race. Brett Hearn started 18th. He's battling for 5th.
Incredible show of driving skill, equipment, the whole 9 yards. This guy, as we said earlier, is a professional. He gets the job done. He's running against one of these weekend warriors. A real young guy here is A.J. Romano. His dad, his brother, all racers, but the kid is doing it right now as he leads Hearn.
They refer to Brett Hearn as the corporate jet, and he is rocketing his way around the track right now. He's 5th all-time in the career dirt modified feature win list with 191. There's your leader, Horton, and he has a sizable lead.
He's stretched it out to nearly a full straightaway now. That's another of the Teo chassis cars. Jimmy Horton runs out of Folsom, New Jersey. The car is owned by Dan Masden. Just overhead doors. He's a Syracuse winner. He's run and won on super speedways, and he's won on dirt, both big and small tracks. A very, very professional driver. Then we go back to the 2nd place car. The man who started on the pole, Kenny Tremont out of West Sand Lake, New York. Again, that's another Troyer car, and he's a 2nd generation driver. His dad is his crew chief. They call his dad Abe because he looks a lot like Abe Lincoln.
Well, it's been quite a clean race to this point. As we near the 1/3 mark complete, there's Bob McCready, 2-time defending Skoal Series champion, 2-time defending Mr. Dirt out of Watertown, New York, and the number 9, and he's challenging one of the all-time greats in Dave Lape.
That's right, Dave Lape, the 2nd winningest driver in the history of this speedway. In fact, he won a feature race here just last Saturday evening, his first at this track this year. Now, McCready started near the back, as we mentioned earlier. He started dead last at Brewerton in the first of these Skoal races a couple of weeks ago. He came on to win that one. So McCready, we call him the master of going faster, and there's a good reason for it. He is extremely fast. Here we've got a car in trouble. That's Steve Payne, the Hurricane. Such a promising young driver. He has made contact with the wall. The front end of that car is messed up, and I'm afraid that her race night is over early. Extensive damage, and maybe it was a flat tire because the tire came off the rim.
Steve Payne with a flat right front, and he went hard into the wall in the front straightaway. We are at Fonda Speedway, Fultonville, New York, and this is Thunder 5. We'll be back with more. the Budweiser Thunder 5 from Fonda. We're back with Rush Hour on Dirt, the Budweiser Thunder 5 at Fonda Speedway in Fultonville, New York. We are 27 laps into our 75-lap dirt modified Skull Racing Super Dirt Series event. The green flag is back out at Fonda and we're racing. Jimmy Horton has the lead. Second place, Kenny Tremont. Billy Pouch low in turn 1 trying to get Tremont.
He can't quite make the pass. Tony Pepicelli runs in position number 4. Then it's A.J. Romano in 5. Brett Hearn is in 6. Danny Johnson runs 7. Doug Hoffman in 8. Kenny Brightbill is 9. And Billy Decker rounds out the top 10.
And we have an eye on the corporate jet. Brett Hearn, the number 3 car, trying to get around Danny Johnson. The Phil Chevrolet of Doug Hoffman, number 1, right behind Brett Hearn.
Here's a side-by-side battle. These are 3 great cars. Here comes Decker. He's just made another pass. So Decker is on fire as he moves the yellow number 91, the Adam Ross cut stone car, towards the head of the pack.
Danny Johnson and Brett Hearn. Hearn has him back as they head into turn number 1.
This is a fierce battle, Doug. They've been going at it for a number of laps, both before and after the caution. This is for position number 5. It appears that Hearn has made the pass now using the outside lane. It's a longer way around out there, but he has now made the pass. So he started at 18. He's up to 5 as we complete lap number 30.
Is there a preferred spot on this track to get by the car in front of you?
Well, it's really hard to tell. They've been passing both top and bottom, and it looks to me like maybe they're going to have to go to the top to pass. It's a little more conservative down on the bottom, but they're making a lot of passes on the outside. But of course, it's a horsepower deal when you're up on the top.
We could point out that the caution flag could have helped Jimmy Horton because he was in traffic. He had lap cars all around him. Now he has a wide open racetrack.
Yeah, that clean racetrack is a very, very important factor here. This is a little bit tight at this racetrack, and there's not a lot of passing room. Here we see now Doug Hoffman going to the outside of Danny Johnson, and here comes Decker on the inside. Great race back for positions 6 and 7.
Back to the front of the pack. Now Brett Hearn, and we have Doug Hoffman up against the wall.
And Decker makes contact. Decker slides to the bottom of the racetrack, and we have yellow on the speedway. Tough break as Hoffman has made contact with Decker, and Bob McCready is against the wall in turn number 1. McCready against the wall in turn 1. It looks like heavy damage there, Doug.
Decker gets his car going. McCready is stopped in turn 1, outside wall.
It looks to me, certainly the front of the car is damaged. That's obvious to all of us from the screen. It looks like the rear end might be bent as well. Now, there was a problem with McCready earlier. He didn't qualify. He had to go to a guaranteed starting spot. He was running in position number 15, and now he's made contact. It looked to me like the rear end of the car was bent as well, Doug. So it looks to be a terminal problem there, both front and rear damage.
Meanwhile, Billy Decker may have just sustained some body damage, and he is testing the car right now. He's moving. Let's take a look at the replay of this event as we take one more look at Bob McCready stopped in turn 1. Here's Hoffman on the outside of Danny Johnson, and they touch. Hoffman comes up, scrapes the wall, then down into Decker.
Decker simply had no place to go. He goes sliding harmlessly into the infield. Now we'll see if we can pick up McCready.
Now we'll take another look of this incident. This is out of turn 4. There's the hard hit with the wall. You wonder if there's damage to Hoffman's car.
These cars are pretty tough, and they can bounce them off the wall, but we'll find out once the green flag flies. Again, that was a great race. They were battling for position number 6 and 7 with Danny Johnson involved in that altercation. Here we see McCready's, Kinney Drug Stores, FX Cabrera, Syracuse Frame Service Troyer car on the hook, and he's the defending Skull Series champion, defending Mr. Dirt champion. He's he's won 9 races so far this year, but it doesn't look like it's going to win his 10th here tonight.
Yeah, 240 for his career. This Skull Series, he's 6th in points, 2nd in money earning. He won the initial Skull Series race of the year at Brewerton, then finished 23rd in the 2nd race at Cornwall, and now he is on the hook.
He's on the hook, and the car is badly damaged, and he's losing laps, and I would say that this is probably the night for the Barefoot Wonder out of Watertown. Again, the caution laps are counting,
As they continue to circle the speedway, I believe they were given the 1 to go sign, so we should see green next time around.
36 laps in, and you can see a little moisture falling from the skies, and we of course will keep you abreast of that. It makes the track very, very slippery, and ultimately you can't run in the rain. And the green flag is back out once again from Terry Pearson, and your leader comes by the front straightaway. It's Jimmy Horton.
And Hearn has just picked up another spot as he moves around A.J. Romano. So Hearn has now taken over position number 4. Jimmy Horton is the fastest guy when the track is dry. We're going to see how it works when the track greases up a little bit here. Now, I say fastest guy. That's probably not true. He's leading, but the fastest guy is obviously Hearn. He's come from 18 to 4.
So you have Horton, then Tremont, then Pouch, then Brett Hearn, and then the number 6 dipping down low of Danny Johnson. Does he have Hearn in turn number 2? He can't quite get him on the back straightaway as we are at the halfway point of this 75-lap Skull Series race.
They are close side by side. We talked about that in the open, Doug. What we didn't talk about, again, you mix all this stuff up, their average speed about 90 miles an hour, and you can see how close they're doing it, closer than they parked their cars in the parking lot when they got here tonight. Danny Johnson works the bottom. Hearn is up on top in a great battle for position number 4. Here comes Jeff Trombley. He'll slide into position number 6. A great move for the young driver. He won a couple of races here earlier this summer, Doug. He won them both on the same night. They had a rained out show. He won that one. They came back and won their regular event as well. So Trombley moves to the bottom of the racetrack, and he picks up a couple of spots with the number 21J. Here we see Decker, who was involved in that altercation earlier. He's working his way from the back of the pack. He's caught Timmy Dwyer in the white car number 1A, and Frank Cozy works the outside. Here we see a shot from Cozy's CarQuest in-car camera.
That is as he maneuvers on the race course down the front stretch into turn 1 and into turn 2. Cozy currently 18th.
So the young driver out of Wind Gap, Pennsylvania, trying to pick up some spots. As we continue to watch, you can watch him working the wheel, and you can see how narrow this racetrack is in various spots. And there's this big sweeping turn that he's entering now. Then he comes down this narrow front straightaway. Again, this is about 90 miles an hour. He's going to the outside of Dwyer, tries to make the pass.
90 miles an hour and a half-mile clay oval with that rear end just breaking loose as you just scream into the turns.
Every which way but straight, we often say, and that's the way they're working it here. Here's Cozy and Dwyer. They continue their battle, and Decker from the back of the pack after the spin.
We have a new third-place runner. It's Brett Hearn. He's past Pouch as they head into turn number 4, and down the front straightaway it's Horton, then it's Tremont, and then it is Brett Hearn.
What a display that Hearn is putting on here tonight. From the 18th to 3 in under 40 laps. He is really on fire. He's got a rocket ship built by his brother. They call it a Teo chassis. His brother Bobby Hearn has constructed that car. They've got them for sale for others as well, but this one always seems to work a little bit better. Here we see an action shot with A.J. Romano working on Danny Johnson. Romano in the red car number 4. Danny Johnson in the white with red car number 6. They continue to battle it out. And there's Bobby Varon. He works the bottom of the racetrack in the red car number 18.
Trombley still has the advantage over Doug Hoffman.
Hoffman showing the effects of that altercation earlier, but it obviously hasn't slowed him down. We were worried about him bouncing off the wall. Well, that's certainly not a problem. Here now is Trombley working on Billy Pouch. This is for position number 4. Pouch runs in 4. Trombley is in 5. Back in a very close 6 as you see Hoffman in the red car number 1. Here's Trombley on the inside now. He's out of Schenectady, New York. He owns his own car. It's a Troyer car. Ron Hunter builds the motor for him. He works on the inside of Billy Pouch as they come to the line.
Is it possible that Pouch's tires are going away this early in the race?
It's possible, but if that's the case, it's going to be a long, long night for him as we're not up to the halfway point. I think possibly he's just got the wrong setup. He's working the outside, and Trombley's working the bottom. That's a shorter way around.
Coming up on the completion of lap 48 out of 75. And we saw Trombley there for a second. He slowed on the front straightaway.
What a tough break. Just talking about what a great job he was doing. He's got the car hung up on the mud now. And
he was 4th.
He was having a great run. Nice young fella, handsome guy. And as we mentioned earlier, he's won a couple of races here this summer already, but he won't win tonight after a great, great run.
So the pace car comes back out on the Fonda Speedway course. as the drizzle continues to come down. Horton, then Tremont, then Brett Hearn, then Billy Pouch, then Doug Hoffman. The top 5 competitors in our Thunder 5. We'll be back with more of the Budweiser Thunder 5 from Fonda Speedway, live on Sports Channel.
Rush Hour. Rush Hour on Dirt.
Back at Fonda Speedway and a Chevrolet Camaro pace car from Central New York Chevy dealers continues to guide this pack of race cars around the track. We have a caution period, 52 laps in out of 75.
They're going to go green next time around, Doug. We'll set the field for you, the top 10 at least. Jimmy Horton is the race leader. Kenny Tremont, who started on the pole, runs in position number 2. Running third is Brett Hearn in car 3, starting 18. Back at 4 is the M1 of Billy Pouch. Doug Hoffman is 5. Dave Camara is 6. Bobby Barron is 7. Danny Johnson is 8. A.J. Romano is 9. And Timmy Fuller rounds out the top 10.
A look at the CarQuest in-car camera. Frank Cozy as we're under green at Fonda.
No change on this one either, Doug, as Horton again shows all kinds of horsepower as he pulls away from Kenny Tremont. But the guy he's got to worry about is Hearn. Hearn works the outside as they come down to the line.
Here's someone else we're getting a good look at is Bobby Barron in the number 18. Remember how he shocked everyone in the Skull Series with the big win here last year. He's made a very big move.
He started back at 24 and he currently runs in 7. This is a low buck operation. That's a great job for this young driver. He's a feature winner here earlier this summer. Here we see Barron working the inside of Hoffman. Barron in the white car down on the bottom. Hoffman in the red car up on top, and they're trying to run down the black number M1 of Billy Pouch.
A battle for second place, Brett Hearn and Kenny Tremont.
Hearn has done most of his passing on the outside, but he's found an inside lane right. Well, he had an inside lane trying to move around Tremont. It didn't work. He'll now go back to the top as Kenny will fill the bottom of the racetrack. But while they're working side by side, David Camara is closing in car number 26.
Camara, a Skoll rookie, putting on a very, very strong move. Again, Brett Hearn tries to dip down low. Barron's up to 5th.
Barron is very, very impressive here. And again, this is a low-dollar operation by the counts of the guys he's moving by. Here's that great battle for second and third. Second is Tremont in the 115. Hearn runs 3 in the number 3. And then it's Camara in the red number 26. That's, again, for positions 2, 3, and 4. You can see the race leader, Jimmy Horton, about 5 car lengths in front of this great side-by-side battle.
We'll keep an eye on this one. Kenny Tremont in second. Brett Hearn in third. And there's Camara dipping down low on Brett Hearn. Does he have him? No. Hearn has a little more bite coming out of turn number 4.
The crowd has gone wild as he's found an inside lane. He's moved by Hearn, at least for the moment. He's got the inside route on Tremont as well. David Camara out of Poultney, Vermont, a local favorite here. He has taken over position number 3. He's now going for 2. Oh my goodness, 3 wide out of turn 4.
Camara has the second position.
He won a feature here just 2 weeks ago, and he obviously has the combination, the home track advantage, you could say. This is unheard of, Doug. The unheralded young driver out of Poultney, Vermont, has just passed the best in dirt motorsports. He's now trying to reel in our race leader. You saw him do a little wheel stand there as he caught the mud on the inside of turn 3.
He's got 15 laps. 15 laps in which to try to reel in Jimmy Horton now as Horton is into turn number 2. There's Brett Hearn. And the battle now for third place with Kenny Tremont.
Well, Horton hasn't had anybody to contend with, but the distance you can see it is about maybe 10 car lengths, and Camara is closing in. He is catching the race leader. This is incredible. We were always looking for the underdog. Well, we got an underdog right here as Camara tries to run down the race leader.
Veteran Jimmy Horton first. Then it's Camara, 27 years of age, first full-time Skoll traveler in 1996, and he's trying to heap some hurt on Horton. Meanwhile, further back in the pack, there's the battle for third, fourth, and fifth.
And Bob
Bobby Varon has passed Brett Hearn. This is another unheard of deal here. Now he's going after Tremont. So the local boys, the home track advantage, may be showing up here as Bobby Varon runs here. He's trying to run down the third place runner, Kenny Tremont. Bobby Varon, the white car with the red trim on it. And, well, they're both red and white, but 115 is Tremont, 18 is Varon.
But we talked about how this is grassroots racing. Bobby Varon has an engine in the car that he bought last week. He said he had to bounce checks to get it. It's a low-dollar team, a local team, trying to make a lot of noise here tonight.
Camara has to stay smooth. He can't afford to catch the inside like he did just a couple laps ago, and that'll upset the rhythm. So he's got to run down on the bottom, but keep it off of that cushion to the berm that's built up down there. There you see Varon. He's up against that inside berm as he tries to run down Hearn and Tremont. There they are,
for third, fourth, and fifth on the racetrack. And again, Hearn goes out high. On the front straightaway, Jimmy Horton leads. Then it's Camara in second place, and we have 10 laps to go.
10 laps to go, and they're catching the back markers, and you just saw the lap car there. Now, this will be an advantage, I suspect, for Horton. He's got a whole lot more experience than Camara, so they get in traffic. It could be Horton's experience, or will it be the home track advantage for Camara? Well, we're going to settle it here in just a few laps, Doug.
Now, Horton streaked out to a big advantage early in the race, then following a yellow caution period, he has seemed to be driving a very, very smooth and conservative race in front of this pack.
He certainly is, and his car is not running on the extreme bottom of the racetrack, and Camara's is, and that could be the difference. They've got about a 4 or 5 car length separation for that battle for position number 1.
On camera, we continue to watch the battle for third, fourth, and fifth. Tremont, the 115, Brett Hearn low, and the number 3.
Again, this is the battle for position 3, and Hearn has to back out and go to the top side. It won't work. Here comes Varon to the inside of Hearn. So Hearn doesn't know whether to go after the position or to protect his spot. He's in a real tight spot right now, and he's just lost a spot to Bobby Varon. So Varon comes to 4, booting Hearn back to 5.
And we have a battle for the lead in the backstretch. Horton is the leader. Camara is second, closing to within 1 car length. 7 laps to go.
Outstanding run. Camara working the extreme bottom of the racetrack. Now Horton is trying to close that inside lane. We'll see how this one unfolds here. We've got a pair of Olsen cars running in positions 1 and 2. Camara now right tight to the rear nerf bar of Horton.
And we do have rain falling here at Fonda as Camara tries to dip down low, so there are going to be very slippery points of this racetrack. If Horton slips up 1 iota, Camara can take him.
If he can find the traction, that's the problem. He runs the bottom of the racetrack. Very, very smooth run. He's caught Horton again. Here the door is open. Can Camara make the pass?
5 laps to go. We know the story of Horton. He left Winston Cup Racing to return to dirt modifieds in the summer of '94. Very, very successful. He leads in the 87. The 26th is Camara.
The crowd is going wild, Doug. Their hometown favorite going against the big guy, Jimmy Horton, and he is all over him. Horton leads, but Camara is putting on the show. Nobody's watching second and third right now. Camara had an open door, couldn't make the pass. The slippery racetrack is obviously playing to the advantage of the race leader.
Did you see how the rear end of Jimmy Horton slid out there? They are now running down the front straightaway, and we have 3 laps remaining.
Jimmy Horton, the winner of the Syracuse 300 back in 1994. He's won that race a few times, and he's, we've said, all kinds of experience. Super speedways with ARCA cars and Busch Grand National cars, Winston Cup cars. He's done it all. He's trying to put another notch in his career here right now.
Out of turn 4 down the front straightaway, 2 laps to go. Horton once again has that pedal firmly against the metal. Going outside is Camara. He'll try it outside in turn number 2. Can he get him? No. Horton hangs on to the lead down the backstretch.
Camara has been running the inside lane all race long, but now he knows it's do or die. He's got to, because Horton's going to protect the inside. Camara's going to have to make it work on the outside. Jimmy Horton would like to win this one for his birthday. That's coming up in just next week on July 3rd.
We are in the final lap, and Camara goes way out high and loses precious ground to the leader, Jimmy Horton. Horton down the back straightaway. Dave Camara in second. Camara tries to close in and turn 3, now to turn 4. And out of turn 4, it's Jimmy Horton down the front straightaway. He takes the checkered flag over Camara, and Jimmy Horton has won Thunder 5. Brought
incredible run.
Paul Small is down in the infield with Charlie DeAngelis. Paul?
Charlie, congratulations. Great run for the Duchess 87 car tonight, and you didn't really change too much after the qualifying heats this evening.
No, we were real tight in the beginning. You know, we thought the track would come to us, but you know, we were fortunate tonight. We had a good starting position. Everything worked out in our favor.
Great to see you back in victory lane 2 times in a row.
Thank you very much.
To you, Doug.
Well, there is a very happy driver, Jimmy Horton, in the 87, the winner of our School Racing Super Dirt Series event, live on Sports Channel here at Fonda.
As you mentioned earlier, Doug, this is a big win for Horton as his birthday comes up on Thursday. Second straight Thunder win here at the Speedway. So Jimmy Horton out of New Jersey recording the win, but the show was put on by the second place finisher, David Camara.
Well, he got the lead from Kenny Tremont, and Jimmy Horton ran a very strong race. And you know, as much as Dave Camara tried to get down low, he couldn't do it. He tried to pull out all the stops by going high the last few laps, couldn't quite get the job done, as this veteran, Jimmy Horton, comes away with a much coveted win and that $15,000 first place prize money. Let's go down now to victory lane and Paul Small.
Jim Horton is the winner of Budweiser Thunder 5. Jimmy, run this evening.
Oh, it was great. This Dutchess team did one heck of a job on the car. You know, it was just had to drive it around. You know, it was a pretty smooth race. You know, we had to worry about the rain a little bit. What can I say? You know, Olsen chassis, file motor. You know, what else can you ask for?
You really had to worry about Dave Camara there at the end as well. He was right at your heel.
Oh yeah, he shook us down. You know, he'd run us down there, and you know, I had to come off the top where we were comfortable, and you know, I just lost a lot of rhythm, and he got with us, and you know, I just had to run his line and make him go to my old line.
Congratulations, phenomenal run for you tonight, Jimmy.
Oh, that's great. You know, I'm just glad we can back to back it. You know, like I said, his Dutchess overhead door team is putting a race car under me. I just got to drive it.
Jimmy Horton sits in victory lane for the second year in a row in the Budweiser Thunder 5. Doug?
He has tasted the agony of defeat. You talked about that Winston Cup crash at Talladega. He was nearly killed in an ARCA race, a big wreck last November driving Kenny Schrader's car, but he is back and he is on top of the game as Jimmy Horton crawls out of the cockpit and waves to the enthusiastic fans here at Fonda Speedway, the winner of Thunder 5, and what a masterful performance.
Outstanding run, and you talked about the crash and nearly killed. That's of course true, and he was out for a number of weeks recuperating, and there was some question if he'd be able to come back at full strength for 1996.
Jimmy Horton wins Budweiser Thunder 5. We'll be back with more Budweiser Thunder 5 from Fonda Speedway on Sports Channel.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
This is your race update from the Fast Track. Rolling Wheels Race.
The exhibits for the annual Fonda Fair. This year's fair will be held right here at the track August 27th through September 2nd. We hope to see you here. Well, Jimmy Horton is in victory lane holding up a check for $15,000, but Cowboy Paul Small is down with Dave Camara, who finished second.
Camara, the top local finisher, one of the regulars here at the Fonda Speedway. Dave, there in the last 10 laps, you got close to him, but you couldn't get him. What happened?
Well, I got up to him and it started sprinkling a little bit harder, and I was hanging the tail a little bit more, and Jimmy was hanging the tail, but I just couldn't get a run on him. I tried him on the outside in the last lap. I don't know, I just needed a little bit more. A couple more laps, we probably could have had him, but you never know.
Why were you able to get such a good bite down there on the bottom to get close to him?
I don't know, we tightened the car up. These guys have done such a terrific job with this car all year. This Camara Slate crew was just, they're unbelievable, and they really put me in a good car tonight, and I felt really comfortable on the bottom. Nobody else was down there, so I kept working on it, made it work, because I knew nobody else was down there, so I kept picking away and picking away.
How much does it mean to you to finish second in this race at your home track?
Oh, this is incredible. You know, these guys have done such a great job for me, and just, you know, I wish we could have won the thing, but we came up one short, but we'll take a second place here tonight.
Dave, why would you travel all the way from Vermont when you have racetracks within maybe an hour or two of you to come here to Fonda to run?
Well, this place, Fonda, has always been really good to me. I've taken a liking to it since the first time I've ever raced here, and I don't know, the fans are great here, and we like it here. We enjoy it, and we seem to go good, so we're going to stay.
Dave Camara is one of the top young superstars on the dirt circuit, as well as here at Fonda Speedway. Doug?
Paul, Dave Camara entered the competition tonight, number 2 in the point standings here at Fonda Speedway, the track of champions. He's trying to become a champion. He wants to become a full-time dirt modified driver. Family business. Camara Slate currently owns the team. There's Jimmy Horton and the jubilation and the lucrative payday here out of a purse of over $40,000.
45,006, I think, was the total tabulation, Doug. And we talked about Hearn coming from the back of the pack. Well, several other of our top 5 finishers did as well. We'll give you the rundown here. Horton, the winner, he started in position number 4. Camara comes home second. He started back in position number 20. Kenny Tremont started on the pole. He faded to finish in 3rd. Bobby Varon finishes 4.
Incidentally, Kenny Tremont continues to be the Skoal Series Ironman. Now 201 consecutive Skoal starts. He has not missed an event since 1985. He finishes 3rd.
That's an incredible record. We were talking about Bobby Varon. He started back in position number 24 to come home in 4. Another hometown driver that put on a great show for the fans here. Hearn started back in position number 18 to finish in position number 5. He will maintain the Skoal Series point lead. He finished 3rd in the opener at Brewerton. He won last Sunday at Cornwall. So with a 3rd, a 1st, and a 5th, he is our point leader as we go off to Rolling Wheels Raceway on next Thursday.
Now Billy Pouch finishes 6th. He had an interesting ride, but he was slowly but surely sliding backwards. Outlaw winner at the wheels will be ready to return to his favorite track.
Yeah, that's right. Here's our 7th place, the top 12 now. Doug Hoffman finishes in 7th. Jimmy Chester, a great run for the young driver out of Newfield, New Jersey. Timmy Fuller out of upstate New York finishes in position number 9. Pat Ward, a regular here at this racetrack, in 10th. And Danny Johnson, who was up in the top 5 for a while, has to settle for 11th. Jeff Hetzler comes out of a consolation way in the back of the pack to finish in position number 12.
All right, 13th, Kenny Brightbell, then A.J. Romano, Billy Decker, Frank Cozy, Tim Dwyer, and there's Tony Pepicelli, who started outside row 1.
So Tony had not the kind of night he was hoping for. Again, this is all unofficial until the scores sort things out.
Once again, our winner is Jimmy Horton. We'll be back with more coverage of Budweiser Thunder 5 from Fonda on Sports Channel.
Dirt Sportswear Direct now features
Fonda and Bob Hilbert Sportswear as the official supplier of Dirt Motorsports apparel. Let's go down to Cowboy Paul Small.
With Kenny Tremont, 3rd place finisher in the Fane Concrete 115. Started on the pole, but couldn't stay there.
No, we just loosened up a little bit, just enough so those guys. Go to Kenny, Cale, and Mason at home. We'll see you in a little while.
Now, Kenny Tremont winds up with a 3rd place finish tonight, but look for him to be tough later on during the Rush Hour on Dirt Series. Doug?
Well, Gary, no doubt about it, Kenny Tremont had a strong ride, but no one had a stronger ride than Jimmy Horton. He was locked up and was very, very deserving of this wonderful $15,000 first place prize money.
Well, Jimmy put on a show and led the most laps and comes home the victor, but I'm sure the crowd favorite is Camaro.
All right, so our winner once again is Jimmy Horton.
Rush Hour
for
official
Gary
vehicles
Montgomery, Paul Small, and the entire Rush Hour on Dirt crew. This is Doug Logan saying thank you for joining us, and so long for now. We'll see you next Thursday night, July 4th, for the Firecracker 75.
Rush Hour official vehicle. Official vehicles are provided by Chevrolet. For over 80 years, we've built our name on a simple idea. Value you can always depend on. Genuine Chevrolet. Race communications for Rush Hour provided by Racing Electronics Professional Race Team Communications, the official race communications company of Dirt Motorsports. Rush Hour apparel provided by Bob Hilbert Sportswear, the official supplier of Dirt Motorsports apparel. For custom screen printed and embroidered sportswear, it's Bob Hilbert Sportswear.
Thank these great folks for their quality production.